So my name is Kate Becker. I'm the director of the Office of Film and Music. And while the Spitfire was a fantastic partner to us for all those years, they also sold the Spitfire. So that was our last month there last month. Last month was our last happy hour there. Unless they reopen under new management and we decide to go back. But that is not in the works right now. What is in the works is that we're here this month. We don't know where we're going to be next month, but we have some really great work that we're doing in collaboration with some of our partners and a bunch of people in the film industry, and we're looking forward to talking about that next month. So please pay attention to where we're going, follow us there, and we're looking forward, it's film focused, so next month, and so we're looking forward to seeing you there. Quick moment to thank our partners, Washington Filmworks. For having us, yes. Seattle Film Institute, who films all of these and makes people and the Recording Academy, who are not here with us tonight. Oh. So, and thank you all for being here. And with that, Amy Lillard.
So, hello. So I'm Amy Lillard. I have the great pleasure to be the executive director of Washington Filmworks, and it has occurred to me over the last month or so what an extraordinary community that we live in, because we have things like the Northwest Film Forum auction and the Northwest Film Forum that supports the work that you do. Maybe you don't know because you're not youth, but you should know that the National Film Festival for Talented Youth opens tomorrow and runs through the weekend, not only for youth filmmakers, but for all filmmakers, which is an extraordinary opportunity. And of course, the amazing Seattle International Film Festival that is about to open. So I feel like we are so lucky to live in a community that supports filmmakers so well. And so it is my absolute great pleasure. How many filmmakers in the room have applied to a film festival before? How many have attended a film festival before? Right? It's
a lot easier to attend than to get in.
That is absolutely true.
And maybe perhaps a little known fact to this this audience, but I started my life taking films to market at festivals, doing out of New York and LA. So I have a deep appreciation for the film festival circuit generally. But we thought it was a great idea to invite the director of programming, Beth Barrett, from the Seattle International Film Festival. Come on up. Only maybe hint at some of the things that you get to anticipate, expect, and love in the coming months, but also to really talk to you about the ins and outs of how to make the most of your festival experience, because getting in is the first part. The hard work, well, maybe not the hard, the equally hard work is the work that you do at the festival. So welcome, Beth, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys. So, like Amy said, my name is Beth Barrett, and I'm the Director of Programming. This is my lovely assistant, Dustin Casper, who is our educational program. He will be operating the technology tonight, which makes me nervous. A lot of reasons. We are on the cusp of the 42nd Seattle International Film Festival, which is incredibly exciting. It's happening in less than a month, which gave me heart palpitations when I realized that it was coming up so close. Our free guide is actually literally at the printers right now. So it's actually happening. We're going to have a festival. We're super excited. We've got a lot of new venues this year. And one of the things, we had to sort of replace the Harvard exit. We can't replace, no one can replace the Harvard exit. I mean, right? Never replace. But we wanted to be able to get the festival and all the things that we bring out to different communities. And so we are at the Majestic Bay in Ballard for the first week. We're up in Shoreline, thanks to Dan and City of Shoreline. And it's up at Shoreline Community College for the second week. And then we're down at the Art Lodge in Columbia City for the third week. Cool. And we are on the east side the whole time, Lincoln Square, and then rolling into Kirkland through the whole festival. Because Seattle is not just Seattle anymore, right? I mean, it's like, how many of you guys don't live within the Seattle city limits? Yeah. We are a major metropolitan area that is evidenced by the fact that it can take an hour to get from Seattle Center to Capitol Hill, and it can take 20 minutes to get from Capitol Hill to Kirkland. Who knows? It could take either time, at any time of the day or night. It's like we're in Los Angeles, where at 2 a.m. you got to back up on the 405. So one of the great things that I think about that we do as a festival is we bring the world here, 85 countries, but we also bring the communities of Seattle together to see the world. So I'm going to start now with our trailer. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see it on our YouTube, and I'm going to get out of the way and hope that the sound is on.
We keep it rolling hot, we keep it going. We keep it rolling hot, we keep it going. We keep it rolling hot, we keep it going. We keep it rolling hot, we keep it going. We keep it rolling hot, we keep it rolling hot. We keep it rolling hot, we keep it rolling hot. We keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it rolling, keep it like the SIFF up.
Duty, and we are Royale, and the thing that we told them is that we wanted to remind everybody that going to SIFF is a party. It is actually a party of film, and there's a lot of really great classic shots. You can see my head in the back of one of those shots for like a third of a second, but I have stopped it, freeze framed, and took a screenshot with my dad. I'm like, look, I'm in a trailer. But SIFF really is. It's an international party of films, and this year. We are, we're still the largest. We've been the largest for many, many years. 124 first and second time directors, which is 47% of our features. 116 films directed by a woman, features 24%, 34 for shorts, and 157 films without U.S. distribution, which is 60% of our feature films. Now the other 40%, of course, have U.S. distribution from sometimes large distributors, like Amazon has become a large distributor, but Focus Features and some of the more art house larger distributors, and some very, very small distributors who are looking to get their films that they, international films that they bought out in front of great audiences, which is what Seattle is. All right, so why do film festivals exist? Well, film festivals exist because you guys make films. I mean, if you stopped making films, we would stop showing films, and then film festivals would not exist, and there would be no reason for you to make films, right? But I think that you make films for more than just showing films in festivals, or more than just having your film bought. I think you make films because that's your art. That's how you express yourselves. You make films because you want to make films. You could make music. You probably also make music. You could do visual artists. You could write a story. You could do spreadsheets for a living. That's
not really.
Well, I'm not really a good spreadsheet person either, which is why we have an accountant. But it's all about your expression of art. We exist because you exist, and it's a symbiotic relationship. Now, is that always an easy symbiotic relationship? No, it is not. It is a very scary symbiotic relationship. So I looked at my talk that I did in 2012. And the numbers were roughly the same, oddly, roughly the same. But I said, oh, it's all changing, digital, you can make films digitally now, and you don't have to pull out 35mm cameras, and you can do it for, $100, or, you're Tangerine, you're Sean Baker, and you do it on your phone, and it goes on to be nominated for awards, which Tangerine is an amazing film. But what he took was his story. So you guys don't make films because it's a really good, there's not good odds, right? That's not good odds. There are so many, many, many films out there. So what do you have to do to put your film above all of these other films? I know, it's a terrifying slide, and we should probably move on to the next one. Because it really is. Well, and the part about the Northwest Connections, we percentage-wise, show a larger percentage of Northwest submitted films than we do for the rest of the world. Because it's important to us. It's important to us to show film that is made here. Now, obviously, thank you. Obviously, we can't show all the films that are made here, and some of you guys might have gotten a really terrible email from me last week through SurveyMonkey or whatever it is that we send things out, and I'm really sorry about that. I know I really am. I would love to be able to show everybody's films, but we can't. And Courtney can't show them at the Northwest Film Forum, not all of them. And Stephanie can't pull all of them into NIFTY, not all of them. But there is a home for every film. There is somewhere that every film can live, depending on what you want to do with that film and why you made it. So why did you make the film? I mean, I think that's maybe the next slide. So we'll just kind of conflate. No, that's not the next slide. Well, we'll just kind of keep that slide out. Why did you make the film? Did you make the film because you needed to work out a character sketch for a feature? Did you make the film because you thought somebody was going to pay you $12 million and buy it and put it on screens in your hometown of Oklahoma? Did you make the film because it was a school project? Did you make it because you just were driven to tell that story? You've got to be clear about why you made your film. If you don't know why you made your film, you don't know what your film is going to do. And you don't have any, you can't chart a course for where your film is going to go and what you're going to do with it unless you know why you made it. Because it could just be a character sketch. You could be like, a Crash Cinema. We've had filmmakers come and like work out characters in a Crash Cinema kind of way in a day. It's like, okay, I have this short that I'm kind of thinking of doing, and these two people I think are going to be these characters. But I want to see how they look on camera together. I want to see if they have any chemistry. I want to see if they can play against each other in this kind of way or that kind of way. Sometimes those films are actually really, really good. Like, Kristen Lindy Boosted did a character sketch that turned into a short film that was seen by, 25,000 people online. Because it was just, they figured out that little moment and made a short film out of it. So once you know why you made your film, then you know what you're going to do about it. Now, what tips the scales to getting your film into a festival? Because that is a real challenging thing. First, you have to make a good film. I don't care why you're making it, and that's all fantastic, but it has to be good. It has to be a good, solid film. The sound has to be good. You have to have, the camera has to be in focus, unless you're going for an entirely experimental piece, and then all those things are off the table, because it could do anything it wants. But it still has to be a good film. You have to tell a good story, and every film tells a story. Documentaries tell stories, narrative, experimental, everything has to tell a good story, and a good story that your audience wants to watch. It could be an amazing story, but if you have wholly unlikable characters and a wholly unlikable storyline, and everyone's just like, oh, God, I feel awful, I want to turn it off. That might not go the way that you are hoping. So you have to make a good story. It can come to life in a lot of different ways. If you're making a short film, really look at the editing. That is the absolute, even feature films. I don't know what's going on. There's like 125, 139-minute features, and that's too long. Short films, really, if you're going to go over 15 minutes, you better have something really amazing to say. Because our attention span as short film watchers is so low. You're also shooting yourself entirely in the foot because a lot of festivals program short films in packages, like we do. And if your film is 25 minutes long, you've got to be better than 3 other films that you're knocking out of that package. You've got to really be going for it. And your film can no longer go in front of a feature, unless you're a documentary short, and then it can go in front of very specific documentary features. But those documentary features have to be less than 60 minutes, or else it goes too long. So if you are looking to get your film into a film festival, make a film that works within some parameters of what film festivals are going to need. We need short features. People are making short features, so we need short films to go in front of those short features, and short films to go in packages. Now, that said, I've seen some incredible 25-minute films. Absolutely stunning 25-minute films. I've also seen a lot of really not stunning 25. And those are definitely more in the majority. I know, I wrote a lot of things down. I think I'm actually, oh God, I'm only on page 1. Other things.
7 hours later.
Other things that you can do to tip the scales in your favor is participate in your local film community. So you guys are all here, so check and check. You've already done that. When you're sending your films to festivals, and this is less important now because we got like 40 DVDs as submissions this year. Last year we had 700 or 800 or 1,000. This year I think we have 40 maybe. Like we don't even need a DVD room anymore because they can live on an intern's desk. Everything is a Vimeo link, which is great, which we are totally in favor of the Vimeo link portion of the modern world. A lot of festivals don't want the Vimeo link, and that's fine. They still want a DVD. Pay attention to what they're asking for when you send in that DVD, because if they're like, we're going to take all of your fancy packaging that has glitter in it, and your sister made a book that it fits nicely in the middle of, they're going to throw it away if their rules say we just want a single DVD in an unmarked case. And that's going to be very heartbreaking, because nice packaging is good packaging. It is... I think I'm still in this, I don't know, yes, look at that. It is okay to email programmers once and introduce yourself, introduce your project, say, hi, I'm Beth Barrett. I made this film, it's about this, one line, nice short synopsis, clean. And it's won film festival awards in Nashville, Dallas, and Sarasota. I'd love for you to take a look. Here's a Vimeo link. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks very much, Beth. That's it. Nice and sweet. That's not going to get you in. It's not even necessarily going to get you to the top of the pile, but it's going to make somebody have to read your email. If they're a decent person, they read your email and they go, oh, that sounds interesting. And it goes into my links of things to watch. You can email other programmers. If you've made a very specific kind of film, if you've made a youth film, a film that is really just going to be for kids, find the educational or family film programmer in that festival and email them. I don't care about a film for 7-year-olds. Like, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to forward it to Dustin, maybe. But find the person in that festival that corresponds with your film. Also, pay attention to what kind of festival that is. If you've made a horror film, don't send it to the Heartland Film Festival, which is all about Christian values in the modern world. It's a waste of your time and money. It's a waste of their time because they're like, oh, I'm not really going to program that, but okay. So it's just
fun
not
to terrorize them, though.
Yeah, they're really nice in the Heartland Film Festival. They really are. I had dinner with one of them at Sundance. It's like focus your attention on winning. Right? You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot right off the bat. You want to focus your attention on things and places that you can send your film to that are predisposed to like them. Make sure your link works, all of that sort of thing. So, I didn't get in. What happened? Yeah, it's still there. Programming is a really subjective art. Now, multiple programmers watch films at every festival, but it's still a really subjective art. If you were the 4th film that came in about salmon, and you were not quite as good as the 2nd film that came in about salmon that year, then your film about salmon, regardless of how good it is, cannot be programmed, because festivals can only have one film about salmon. Because there's a lot of topics and there's limited amount of space. And I'm using salmon because that actually happened. We got 5 films about salmon. Salmon in the Elwha Dam one year, and I was like, well, extra one. Of course, they were all local, which makes it all even harder because they're all local. You can only show one. So it may not be your film. It may just be that that programmer couldn't program it. Your film may be excellent and may go on to win awards, may go on to win an Academy Award. I have turned down, I've thought, that's not really very good. Films that go on and win Academy Awards, almost every year it happens, and then I question myself. But I wasn't alone in that particular one. I think everyone went, all right. So it's not necessarily about you. If you've made a good film, you will find a home for that film. Even here in Seattle, there are 15, 20 film festivals. I mean, happening right now is NIFTY and SIFF are happening in the next month. Seattle Jewish just happened. Translations is happening the weekend before SIFF. Lesbian and Gay Film Festival is in October. Polish Film Festival, the South Asian film. I mean, we've an embarrassment of riches of film festivals that all want to show content that is really good. And they would love to show local content because then it's great because audiences come and you get the directors and there's a great energy. So there is a home for everyone. So don't give up hope if your film didn't get into the one festival that, I mean, you saw those numbers. It's an astronomical climb to get into the festival that you want. Keep looking. Keep finding that film at that festival that's going to work for your film. I think we could go into the next one. Okay, but you did get in. You did get into a festival, which is great. SIFF, you got into somewhere. You got into NIFTY, you got into Sundance. You got into somewhere that is going to be great for your film. How do you maximize being at that festival? Well, one, you go to that festival. I mean, it sounds kind of like, oh yeah, well, of course I'd go. Not every festival is able to bring filmmakers there. The budgets, the travel budget, we have an extraordinarily high travel budget, and that's something that's really important to us, is to bring filmmakers from around the world here, to network, to meet you, to meet other filmmakers, to meet the audiences. But we are not, we're a little unique in a lot of film festivals. A lot of film festivals don't have the budget to bring one person from every film in. So what does that mean? Well, when you did your budget, way back when, before you started filming, when you're in pre-production, when you're thinking about all the stuff that you're going to need to do, you're going to write in filmmaker travel, festival travel, because it is really, really important for you to be at that festival, for you to see your film with an audience, because what it looks like at your house on your 60-inch TV is totally different than what it feels like in a room of 150, 200 people. It changes it. You're also going to want to meet the people. They want to meet you. The audience wants to meet you. You want to start those relationships. Plus, there's networking opportunities. No, that was not the right slide. I mean, I thought it was one slide.
It's operator error.
No, it's actually the right slide. You're going to commit. That's where you put your money into your festival travel budget, but you commit to being there. Oh, sorry, I just looked right in the sun. That was the light. You're going to commit to being there. You're going to commit to bringing everything that you have to that festival. Now, that means materials. That means having a really good still, because no one wants to see a boring still. No one wants to see someone looking pensively off into the... No, you don't want to go see that film. You want to see the film where someone's doing this, right? You're like, ooh, what's happening? Why are they doing that? What's happening? Or, of course, half-naked boys in bathtubs. I swear to God, it works. People want to see it. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, there we go. It's just have a compelling still and write a good synopsis, because I will tell you, publications people and programmers, if there's a good little logline and synopsis already written for your film, you wrote it, you obviously approve it, we're going to just put that right into our publications. So if you've got a good one and we don't have to rewrite it, easy peasy. Plus, then you know your film's being represented correctly. I can't even remember. Sorry. Hey, you made it. Going to festivals. Terrorism. No, I think I've skipped some. I think I've skipped some pages. But let's go on to the next one. Oh, brag, but not too much. Yep. You want to go and you want to tell people that your film is great. Because your film is great. You feel great about it. You want to tell people. You want to sell your film. You are going to need to sell your film to random people in the coffee line. Go get coffee while you're there. Say, hey, are you here for? Wear your pass. I know it kind of looks a little like, I don't know. I want to wear my pass around the town. Well, that's how you identify, that you're a filmmaker, and that people want to come up and talk to filmmakers. Especially if you're in a smaller festival that's all sort of in one area and everyone is running around and everyone has their passes on. That's how you find each other. Otherwise, you're just normal people running around next to each other, and you don't know that the person standing next to you is destined to become the producer of your next film, because neither of you are wearing your passes. So there we go. Brag, be really proud that you got a film into a festival, and that is really awesome. The odds are not good, and you beat those odds for that festival, which is really amazing. Okay, let's go to the next one. Research, come prepared. One of the amazing things that I think filmmakers can do is to run their own grassroots marketing efforts. Now, what does that mean? That means working with the festival PR team, but I gotta be honest, most festivals, the PR team, the PR marketing team for SIFF is 7 people. And we have 417 films. So you can see the odds of getting a lot of one-on-one attention for your film is not terrific. They're obviously going to market all the films, and everybody's films are going to get attention. But your film is going to be more popular and is going to be more well attended if you are out there getting attention for yourself. Plus which, it gives you a great opportunity to connect with communities, work with their team and say, hey, I've noticed, my film is about, snowboarding dogs, and I've noticed that there's, a lot of snowboarding groups in Seattle, and they, yes, absolutely, would you like some names, and kind of start, and introduce yourself to those groups and say, hi, my name is Beth, I made a film about snowboarding dogs, and it's playing at SIFF, and this is really amazing, it's an amazing story, here's a Vimeo link, I'd love it if you would help me get the word out to your communities. Because those people want to see films about snowboarding and dogs, apparently, it could happen. And so you do your own grassroots marketing in conjunction with the PR team, and everybody wins. You are connected to audiences that then are really invested in coming to see your film because they know you. They've emailed with you. They're like, oh yeah, no, I totally know Beth, and that's great. And they come and introduce themselves afterwards. It's all about community. Obviously, it's all about community. This is an amazing community. 6 years ago, when this all started, we didn't see each other every month. And now people see each other every month, and you've formed relationships and working relationships and made films and made music and that kind of thing. It's the same thing. It's all about that microcosm of community that you get when you go to a film festival. You're always on when you're at a film festival, and you're wearing your pass. Now that might be a really good reason to take off your pass, because you are always on. You are really well identified as a filmmaker, as a guest of the festival. And what are the, there are some rights and responsibilities to that. The rights are that you get adoration from the public because you've made films. And that's really exciting. And people want to know you, and people want to say, oh my God, I saw your film, that was great. Or, I missed it, when's the next screening, when they meet you in line for coffee. Now, the responsibilities are that you're a good person and you don't use that for, evil power or anything like that. A lot of festivals have some sort of media room, check in with the media room and say, hey, I'm here if you need, interviews or anything like that. You never know when there might be a press person just sitting there going, sure, I got 20 minutes. Talk to me. Tell me about your film. You really just never know. Next. I have one more thing before that one. So the other thing that you do, which I forgot to make a slide of, but I looked over and I saw my lovely assistant. No, don't do that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Flicker. No, my lovely assistant, Dustin, as our educational programs manager. A lot of festivals don't have what we have, and that is an education program where filmmakers get taken out to schools and schools get brought to filmmakers. This is an incredible program that we have, and you will never know your film better until you try to explain it to a 12-year-old. Honestly. See if that festival has an education program. See if you can go out and meet students. See if you can go out and network with young filmmakers. I mean, NIFTY is an amazing thing right now, and I think everyone should go and network with these young filmmakers because they are making amazing work, and they're 18 and 20 and 22, and you're like, oh my, when I was 22, what was I doing? Well, hopefully you were all making films, because that's probably what's actually happening for you guys. So that is definitely one thing to do. The other thing is go to the panels, the forum panels, the discussions. Oftentimes they're free. If you're a filmmaker, they're free. You can get them with your pass. If you're not a filmmaker with that festival, just go and experience the great things that are discussions of directors. I saw at Sundance, Werner Herzog talked to Joshua Oppenheimer about truth in documentary, and it was just like, what? Totally free, just kind of wandered up. It was all fine. Things like that happen, and you're going to learn a lot, and you're going to be in a room with people who are also interested in learning a lot. Now, this whole going to festivals is wonderful when your film is in and you've got the filmmaker pass, and you're like, yeah. So what do you do if your film isn't in the festival? The exact same thing. You just do the exact same thing, you just don't get to show your film. You still go to things, you still go to events, you still go to forums, you still talk to people in line. You're still like, this is what I do. This is what I do for a living. Here's my film that I made last year. Here's what I'm working on now. You're still selling all of those things. One thing you can do here at SIFF is the SFI Pass, which Dustin has some handouts for it, which will get you into, depending on what levels, press screenings and invitations to parties and opening night and that sort of thing. And Dustin has more information about that. He has some handouts. So there's a lot of ways that you can participate in film festivals without actually having your film in a film festival. But we are here now to find out about the Northwest Connections 2016 lineup. We are, we're very excited. 39 films, I think I did that math correctly. 39 films, shorts and feature length. And so we'll just sort of go to the next slide, and this will be our 2016 class of Northwest Connections. These fine folks right here. Some of whom are actually here. Do you guys want to stand up if you've got a film that we're showing at SIFF this year? This would be Aaron Bear, Finding Kim, and Danny Tiara from Oh I Get It. Yeah, just they're up there. I'm down on the top. Joey Johnson over there, he's paralytic. Oh look, I bulleted one of those. And then the Ruxpins, the director of the Ruxpins is in the back, right there. There we go. It's a really broad selection of films, of shorts and feature lengths. A lot of documentaries. People are making a lot of really good documentaries here in Seattle. And so we're very, very excited to be presenting these 15. Do you guys have any questions? I know I just blathered on in circular form, which is really my thing. So, yeah, Matt.
As someone who did submit last year and didn't get in, but not even really specifically for that reason, just kind of more for general feedback, I'm guessing that the opportunity to get any sort of feedback about your film, even if it's as simple as it was just too long, is really very difficult to accomplish, because if you do it for one person, then you've got to do it for everybody, right?
Well, on paper, yes, that is absolutely true. And on paper, I don't give feedback, but in reality, if you email me in July, I'm happy to talk to you about your film. If you email me May, then I'm just going to delete that email. But in July, I'm totally happy to talk to you about your film. And I do often through the course of the summer and the fall talk to people about their films. There's a lot of reasons usually, and as I said, a lot of it might not be, your film might be really, really great. It was just the third of something, and we had already booked another film. And sometimes just things happen.
What if you specifically didn't actually see the film?
Then I have all the notes from all of my programmers.
Oh.
Yes. We program as a team here at SIFF. There's 18 of us. So at least one or two, the local ones, at least 2 people watch everything. So yeah, I have all of those notes. And most festivals, if you are respectful and you email them after their festival and ask nicely, most of them will respond to you. You have to ask nicely, though. Yeah.
You can't say, why the hell didn't my film get in?
Yeah, don't be a dick.
Right.
Because that really, nothing turns you off faster than, it's like, my film was better than all the other films that you showed last year, and I don't know why I didn't get in. It's like, well, I do now. Yeah. So you guys ready? Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you work with the guild on 45th? Like, why isn't that a SIFF venue?
It's a landmark venue, and they don't. That's one of the last remaining landmark.
Harvard was a landmark.
Yeah, but when they had the Harvard and the guild,
Yeah.
so that's the last remaining, one of the last remaining landmarks that's running year round. And so they're not altogether willing to give up being able to run films during SIFF. It's hard. I mean, obviously SIFF takes a lot of the audience, and so it is hard to be the other theatrical venues during SIFF. So they just wanted to.
I think you failed to mention that you're coming to Ballard this year.
I did not fail.
Oh.
Majestic Bay.
So down.
You failed to listen.
Majestic Bay. Majestic Bay. No, we're really excited to be up at the Majestic Bay. It's fun. It's great. Yeah.
Could you talk about the length of feature films?
Sure. So feature films are a little bit different. We're showing some feature films that are actually really very short this year, as short as 55 minutes, and as long as 201. Yeah.
Modern War and Peace, or?
No, a longer film. So anywhere in between that. So it's a little harder. Ideally, I think most feature films should be somewhere between 78 and 95 minutes. That's kind of an ideal length for the American attention span. I know that sounds really weird. People start getting hungry and they need to go to the bathroom after about an hour and a half. I know that's a terrible reason. Now, if you have a film that is really quality 72 minutes, boom, then that's great. If you have a film that really needs 2.5 hours to really get to where it's going, and really does, and other people have told you that, and not just, and you've edited it, and you've gone, and you've talked to people that are not your friends and family. Your friends and family are going to tell you your film is amazing, you were so great in that film. The other people are going to be like, yeah. No, you need to lose this scene with the kids and the dog because nobody knows who the kids are, and the dog is just running around, and you're like, oh, but that's my dog, and they're like, still need to lose that scene with the kids and the dog. So get that kind of editing advice from strangers. I know that there are groups that do a lot of like works in progress viewings and screenings and stuff like that. Get other people's attention or get opinions, because it's going to be invaluable to you when it comes to cutting, because they did not spend any money on it, they did not write it, they did not make it, they did not edit it, they didn't do anything to it, so they are not personally invested in your film in the same way that you as a creator or an editor or a producer are. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts on resubmitting to festivals?
If you have made some significant changes, like recognized your film was too long or too short, or it just needed, the sound wasn't right, or that particular actor was terrible and you reshot some scenes, go ahead and resubmit. Some festivals don't mind if you resubmit at all, even with the same film, because it could be that next year is the year that they don't have a film about salmon, and yours is still really good, and there you go. There's your film about salmon for the year. So there's a little bit. For us, we do keep track of things that we've seen year after year, and a lot of times there's significant changes. Time, running time is a big change. It's like, oh, they cut 14 minutes out of that film. That's an entirely different film. You cut 14 minutes out of an 85, 95-minute film. That's an entirely different film. It's got a different, it's got a different rhythm. It's got a different access point. It's a different film. So.
I can think of at least 3 films that are up there on that screen that we saw last year in some sort of form that is now playing here at the festival this year.
That is actually true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and part of it was just that it might not have been finished. They were still, working on it, or that they made some major revisions to it.
But does length equate to correlate to quality?
Not necessarily, unless your film was too long to start with.
Yeah.
And you found some good opinions, you found a good editor, and you tightened it up to what it needs to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about the ideal length of shorts? You said for features, what that was. What is it for shorts?
15 minutes.
15.
Yeah, somewhere in that 15 to 18 minutes for a long short. And if your film is funny, 5 minutes. If you just have one big joke, it should just be that one big joke, and there should kind of be not a lot after that. Comedy is harder because the longer your longer your comedy film is, the more you need to sustain that comedy, and that's harder to do. So you really want to have a nice tight comedy, yeah.
In terms of packaging,
Mm-hmm.
should it be in like 5-minute chunks? Like if you're gonna do a short, it should be 5 or 10 or 15?
No, just once it gets longer than 15, 18 minutes, it's harder to put into a short film package, because then it's got to be better than 2 other films. Or it's harder to put in front of a 75-minute feature, because there are a lot of really good 75-minute independent features that a 15 to 18-minute film just goes boom right in front of. And I personally love short films in front of features. I think it's great. I think it's a great experience for the audience. It's a great experience for filmmakers. So, a little bit of balance. That said, if you have like a 25-minute story that is beautiful and contained and just perfect, make a 25-minute film. Don't sell yourself short because you want it to be 15 minutes if there's enough for that story, which is often hard to tell within yourself, which is where other people come in.
And then last question, the documentaries. Is there a format length for that?
It depends if you want to put it on TV afterwards. So if your ultimate goal for that film is to try to get onto KCTS or onto any kind of broadcast television, your film should be 52 to 54 minutes. Because that is what fits into that time slot. Yeah, that is what it fits into that time slot. So then they have some little PSA time and a little like this time, and then boom into that next time slot. So if that is your ultimate goal, now that might not be your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal might be to be on a website, to be part of a collection on Netflix. Your ultimate goal might be to be in a theater. If you're in a theater, a 50-minute film is going to be a challenge, because there's this perception in audiences that if it's less than 70 minutes, you didn't get your $15 worth, right? Right? Because we're all like, oh, that was 65 minutes. Was that really worth $15? Yes, it was, and you had a really wonderful experience doing it. But so if you are looking ultimately to go theatrical, which I will say is a very, very challenging final destination for films, because there are just not that many theaters anymore. And there are not that many places that you can say you get a full theatrical. There are not that many distributors that are buying films to put them into theaters. Distributors are buying films to put them online. They're buying films to put them on VOD, Netflix, airlines, international. International distribution on like SBS in Australia buys a lot of films from distributors. So that kind of goes back to ultimately what you want your film to do when it's done. Like where would you like to see that living? And that can guide a little bit of your editing. There's a lot of films that come through like Outlook Film Sales, which is a documentary distribution mostly for European television channels, and they have 54-minute and 92-minute cuts. So that it can go into theaters, into small theaters, and it can go on television. So that's something you also can look at if you have a documentary especially. It's hard to make a feature with 2 different lengths like that, but it's easier to make a documentary. Yeah?
How often, if at all, do you accept music videos as shorts?
Well, that's interesting. We do accept music videos as shorts because they are tiny mini short films, which are interesting. We don't tend to show a lot of them because that's not our audience. Now that said, South by Southwest, they have 2 whole programs of music videos as short films, and that's a big part of their short films because that is South by Southwest is music and film and interactive all in one conglomerate at the same time. So there are lots of music video festivals that can be a great outlet for it. It's still gonna, of course, have a narrative arc, and it probably shouldn't just be of the band and stuff like that. So, but if you're telling a short story, just using the song as a background to that short story, then yeah, it's totally worth it. Yeah.
I'm wondering, in your experience, like with going to different festivals and also conversations at SIFF, what are some of the kind of interesting new approaches to like mixed media, new technology, and also outreach interactive stuff. I'm just wondering if you've seen anything that's kind of like cool that's going on.
Yeah, it is happening. VR and immersive storytelling and 360 storytelling and AR, which is alternate reality, is going to be part of the next step for filmmaking. So you have a documentary about Syrian refugees, and you can really, you can see it and you can look at it, but virtual reality is taking the next step for you of you're living it, because it's all you can see. It's completely immersive, and it's that whole area is taking a leap from, hey, look, I can fly. Like, oh my God, put on VR glasses and I can fly over the Grand Canyon and I can like swim with dolphins and all the things you can do in virtual reality, to actually telling stories. And that landscape is happening, and it's growing, and it's a little in its infancy right now. But those stories are starting to be told in that way, not just flat anymore. It's all.
Do you have like an example of something that you, no?
Noni de la Pena is doing a lot of amazing work. Actually, the Syrian refugee reference was to a piece that she did in collaboration with the New York Times, I believe.
And she's been working with the Times, but yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people working, actively working in VR, and there's a lot of people here in Seattle actively working in VR creation and VR storytelling.
Yeah, and she's someone who that immersive journalism is her kind of niche within that world. So.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm organizing a student film festival, and I'm dealing with a limited program time. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how best to inform filmmakers that their entries did not make it into the lineup.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I know.
That's a really hard one. We can, actually, and Dustin and I would be happy to talk to you about that. As we're seeing, I think it became 7 o'clock. But come down and talk to us, because that's awesome. So, yes.
What was one of your favorite films of last year?
Of last year? Boy, yeah. God, I don't even remember last year. Like, honestly, I don't even remember what we showed last year, but I remember liking a handful of them.
Outside the festival. Something that.
Oh, outside the festival. I saw Midnight Special. It was really good. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. So Dustin and I will be around for a little bit longer. We'll let you guys stand up, because I'm taking your hour and a half for people.